Hey there. Well, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take loose the rubber band from this graft. Overlease, May 30th this year. As you all may know, this was a bark inlay that I did, and I'm seeing that the parafilm is coming loose and is exposing the top of this graft. Not to mention, I want to get rid of that rubber band. It's time to release it. And while I'm at it, I figured, you know what? Why not do footage to see what it looks like while we're at it? Get a good look at this. What kind of callousing do we got going on? What kind of melting? I wrapped that up pretty tight, and I mean, I could take and just run parafilm across the top of it again, but I want to freshen up the parafilm that's on there and have an opportunity at the same time. I want to look. I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. I want to see what that scar looks like. Put that knife down. Kind of hard to work with because it's sitting down so low, but we'll get it here. There. Got another little bud right here trying to get going. Now let's have a look. Yeah, it's melting really good right now. And as you notice, there was a slope coming down through here, and that's turned almost black. I'm gonna have to wrap. I wanted to press parafilm on there because you don't want water to rest on that. But like I said, I put a slope for water to run off. And now what I'm gonna do is break this parafilm I got out and cover that back up. But I see where the union took place right here and one on the other side. I cut it to the size of the scion and to see what it would do. That's taking a little while to grow. It's growing kind of slow, but once it really takes off, it should take off real well. This, as you all know, was a tree that I had purchased. It was supposed to be an NC1, but it didn't. The characteristics of the tree was nothing like the NC1s that I had grafted personally. It had a narrow leaf like a Overleese, and the NC1s, they have a much broader leaf, and I just wasn't convinced that that's what it was supposed to, that it was an NC1. I just wasn't convinced that it's what it was. So I had elected to go ahead and graft it because one of these days I will be collecting uh, scion from some of these trees that I've grafted in here. And I want, you know, if I'm going to collect scion, and I tell you that, well, it's a particular type, well, I want it to be a particular type. I want to be certain that I'm dealing with a particular type, not just me telling you it's that. I wrap it right back over the top. That parafilm just snapped on me. Try that again. Trying to leave that little bud right there exposed, see if it's willing to grow. And I'm going to go down. Parafilm, parafilm. I'm going to come right back up. I'm going to put a couple of layers of parafilm on there to make sure I got complete cover up. And as time goes on, I'll have to come back out here and do it again, because that parafilm will decay. They've got a wax that you can actually put on top of them, but I don't have that available. That parafilm just ain't cooperating like I want it to. This time I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to work my way up. Overleese. You know what? Just for good measure, I just want to make sure that that top is covered, and I've got to do what I got to do. You don't want it to be a waste. What's the sense of doing the work if it's going to waste on you? Get good coverage. That's good coverage. Now, there we go. Overlease. Bark inlay. I didn't really get into the bark inlay last year. I did a one tree, but it was an oak tree, just to test it out. I had an undesirable white oak, hybrid white oak out there, and I had other white oaks around here, and one particular white oak that I liked very well. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to try my hand with this grafting technique called bark inlay. That oak was about that big around, and I grafted much higher up off the ground than this right here, and it worked out. So it prompted me to go ahead and utilize that bark inlay uh, on these pawpaws. And this one right here was the only in the field bark inlay directly on the rootstock that I did. I did do inlay grafts on top work trees where they were out on the limbs, and I just cut a little slit and separated the bark and tucked that scion wood back behind that slit, and they all took off. Matter of fact, a couple of them, the the limb itself, or the scion itself, has already made it all the way out here and wrapped around there, as I've shared. But anyhow, it's just something that I wanted to do in taking care of my little trees. Get the fence back on it. Now eventually, when this really takes off, I'm going to have to come back behind here and stick like a little rod or something down into the ground, attach the rootstock to the rod, and figure out attaching this to the rod also to stabilize that, because the wind will come and blow on that and knock that off that rootstock, and we don't want that. We want to give it plenty of time to do what it wants to do as far as growing. You know, I got to do what I got to do because I don't want to lose the work that I've done. And right now the fence is on there because I've got groundhog issues. I need to break out the 270 and thin them things down. That's why I got a lot of cages on these pawpaws. The bigger pawpaws I don't, but the smaller ones I do. Anyhow, just something that I wanted to share with you. Pawpaws, amazing little trees to work with. My name's Jim. If you like what you see, subscribe. Don't forget to click on that bell for notifications. Any comments or questions that you may have, I welcome. You all have a God bless day.